Hello, how are you? Welcome back to our zone. This is our relate area where we are trying to relate better. We are learning to become better partners, better relatives, better co-workers, better colleagues, better spouses. Just becoming better in relating. We want to build more meaningful and deeper relationships. We want to be better people. We want to have good friendships and meaningful relationships. Today we want to continue relating better. We want to become better people, like we said. A question comes here: how do you relate? How can you build a meaningful and a deeper relationship? Everybody is going to tell you, you can do better, you can be better, but the question is how. This time, in a few minutes, we are going to see how simply we can become better partners, how we can be in better relationships. Have you ever wondered which raw materials or requirements you need in a relationship? They're not very many and they're not very far. Remember that you have 3 components. Number 1, know that you have a body, you have a mind, and you have a soul. Most of the time when we are entering relationships, when we are starting new engagements, we usually go with our bodies and maybe follow with our mind, but most of the time we leave our souls out. It's important to remember that whichever interaction you are making, whichever relationship that you are making, you involve your body, your mind, and your soul. This means that the whole of you is in it. All of you is driving, and it means that you are not going to be used, you will not be abused, you will not be taken for granted, because you are inside it and you are in it deeply, simply because you have put your mind, your body, and soul. How do we put our body in a relationship? Let's say, for example, if you are in a working relationship with somebody, your body, you might be a manual worker or a casual worker. It means your body, as in your muscles, are the ones that are in this relationship. It means they are supposed to work, they are supposed to give, and they are supposed to ensure that what you have provided or what you're supposed to do is done. If it is an emotional relationship, your body is in this relationship because your body is what causes attraction. You know that men are attracted to the female's body. Of course, they like your skin, they will like your eyes, maybe they like your buttocks or bums, or they like your hips or legs. So it means your body is part of that relationship. It means your body has an ingredient in this relationship. The other part, maybe, for example, if you are getting in a relationship, and we want to put our mind, like we've mentioned, there are 3 parts that we should put in this relationship. Your mind is the one that gives a thought. Your mind is the one that agrees. Your mind is the one that senses that there is something here. I'm going to give something here. I'm capable of giving something here. If it is a work relationship, your mind is the one that has the qualifications. It's the one that has the zeal. It is the one that has what we call, maybe the potential is in your mind. If it's an interview, your mind will work so much. If it is thinking, your mind is the one that is doing it. If it is generating ideas, it is your mind that is doing it. And if it is implementing, of course, it is your mind that is on it. So if it's a working relationship, your mind is supposed to be very dynamic, very active, very creative. Probably it will not sleep when there is some work that has to be done. If there is a task that is at hand, your mind is the one that will stay up at night. Your mind is the one that is going to jump if you have an idea that has come, that has just passed, or that has come to your head. Your mind is probably your brain. Just know that in every relationship, in every interaction, in every engagement, you should use your brain. You should use your mind. Think before you act. Think as you act. Think after acting. Don't ever say that I didn't think a lot, I didn't give it enough thought, because at the end of the day, if you are a sane adult, everybody will be asking, what were you up to? What were you thinking? Why didn't you think? Why didn't you give it a thought? So your mind, or we could call it your brain, is very important when you are relating, when you are making any contribution in a relationship. Thirdly, or lastly, we are saying that there is a part that we call the soul. Many people just have failed to explain what the soul is. But we all know that without the soul, we are nothing. We all know that our eyes, our ears, our noses, our body is nothing without the soul. And we all believe that if the soul is pulled or plucked out of the body, then the body is dead. This means that if you are relating, if you are in a relationship, if you are in a love relationship, if you are in a marital relationship, if you are in a working relationship, and there is no soul in it, it means there is no love in it. It means there is no, you do not have zeal, you do not have charisma, you do not have, you're not eager. There are those extra senses, there are those exciting senses, there are those things that keep you at tenterhooks. When the soul is involved in a relationship, this means that these two people, or these two companies, or these two entities have now married, or they've gone into deep this relationship, that you might find it hard to disentangle them, to put them apart. People who have their souls in relationships, they don't need money. They don't need a lot of work. They will not demand a lot of your time. They will just take it as it is. They are going to take you for what you are. They are going to, they will accept you the way you are. Your incapabilities, your mistakes, your, things that you cannot do will not really matter. They'll take you as you are. They'll do their best to make sure that you are comfortable the way you are. And if there is room for improvement, they'll be with you. They'll hold your hand to make sure that you are better, because this person is in too deep with you, is very much into this relationship. And even when you lost a leg, even though you became blind, even though you had cancer, even though your body or your physical attributes changed anyhow, this person is going to be there. That person will stay there. We know the companies that have continued to support their employees even when they've fallen sick, if they've got accidents, if they've gone bedridden, if they've lost their spouses. We have companies that have continued to support families, to support their employees, much as they're not able to give what they used to give. This means that this company and you has put their soul in this work relationship. We know husbands that have continued to look after their wives even when they cannot give birth. We know husbands that have wives that have got cancer. We know husbands that have wives that have nervous breakdown, and they've continued to look after them. They've continued to support their families. They've continued to raise their children. They've continued to be husband material. This is what we call soul intertwining, soul relating. The soul is in the relationship. This even goes beyond. Just imagine if you were dead. If at a certain point you left your loved one, would they continue to look after your friends? Would they continue to look after your children? Will they continue to pray for you much as you've left this life? Do they hope to meet you after in the hereafter? Do you ever think of what it would be like, you and your husband, you and your wife in heaven? This is the soul. This is simple loving. This is simple living, whereby you just get into this relationship, the whole of you, mind, body, and soul. We are going to stay in this zone for a while. We want to improve our relationships. We have to become better. This is in the positive zone. This is in the positivity area where we must be happy. Otherwise, the other side, the opposite side, is not comfortable. I tell people, that it's important to be positive. It's important to choose happiness over sadness, because it's a choice. At the end of the day, you have yourself to ask. At the end of the day, it is you who will be in regret. Today we talked about 3 things: requirements or ingredients or raw materials that you must add into your relationship. Where is your body? Is it in it? Where is your mind? Is it in it? Where is your soul? How deeply is it in this relationship? How often do you think about your relationship? How often do you want to bring new ideas? How often are you creative for your relationship? How often do you look at your body? Does it still fit in this relationship? Remember when you were before, at dating time, before marriage, when you just wedded, before you had your first child, that body, is it still in the relationship or it is out of it? And lastly, your soul. The soul just binds it. The soul just makes it concrete. The soul strengthens it. The soul ties it up, and it will never break. Is your soul in your relationship? Is your soul intertwined with your partner's soul? Will you be there in heaven together? Will you meet together? Will you be happy? Will you be there when this life comes to an end? Oh, will you still be in love when your face gets wrinkles? Will you still love your husband or wife if one eye, became sick or it became white? If, someone hit his nose and it broke, just know that when the physical doesn't count anymore, when the money he has doesn't really count at all, when his education is just on the table, know that your soul is in it. Know that you are married. Know that you have a concrete relationship. This is the zone where we relate better. Zaitun Kachama is your coach, is your counselor, your friend. We always say that your relationship is our business. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.